Do you like meat? Do you like saving money? Do you like saving money on meat? Then you, my beginner meat cutter, are in the right place. On this channel, I teach people how to cut meat, cook meat, and eat meat. That's what we do around here. And I'm so glad you have chosen to come with us. Out of all the comments I get this one the most from beginners. What happens if I mess it up? So I'm here to tell you, yes, you can mess it up. But what we're gonna do today is practice. That's right, we're going to practice. Just like they do in the NFL, we're gonna practice the skills we need on game day. We're gonna do it without breaking the bank. We are gonna practice 4 fundamental skills that will translate when you go ahead and bite the bullet and get your whole ribeye and your whole New York strip, your whole tenderloin. These skills will transfer. But we're gonna do it with a cheaper meat that's gonna be much easier on your wallet. If I could do that, would that be something you would be interested in? If so, keep watching. So what is a good stand-in for our beef cuts? The cuts need to be similar in shape than what is on the beef, and it needs to be a lot less expensive so we can practice. And even if we mess it up, we did not spend a bunch of money on this. In comes the pig. We are gonna do all of these skills with pork. All right, so we are gonna start out with the pork tenderloin. When you buy these, they come in a 2-pack. It even looks like a small beef tenderloin. So everything is exactly the same. What we're gonna do here is learn how to take off the silver skin. Now, silver skin is a connective tissue that is made of elastin, and it is like super, super tough. It needs to be removed. It cannot be cooked out. You can cook this thing you can cook elastin for hours and hours and hours, and it's like a rubber band. So it needs to be removed. So we're gonna take our 6-inch boning knife, and then we are going to take off this silver skin. It is a great facsimile to a beef tenderloin because it's really, a beef tenderloin is just a little bit bigger. So this is a good practice session. There's a little bit of fat and a little bit of sinew that's covering this silver skin. So what we'll do is we'll take the back of our knife, flip it over, and just lightly scrape. Going against the grain here, just lightly scrape. And what that's gonna do is take this little piece of fat off, and then we can take some of that sinew off so we can see what we're doing. That's the most important thing. We gotta see what's underneath there. Use your fingers and just take off that sinew pieces. And what we've done here now is we have exposed all of this silver skin. All right, so we're gonna kind of flatten it out a little bit and then take the tip of our knife and go on one side, and you're gonna wiggle back and forth. Y'all see that? Just wiggle back and forth and then cut this out right here. Now, what we've done here is we made a handle so we can pick this up. And we're going to go ahead and pull this piece of silver skin this way so it's nice and taut so that it will slide off with our knife. Watch this. Got a little bit of meat in there. Again, gotta practice. We go ahead, we find this other little piece. We're gonna do our little wiggle, get underneath, cut out. Okay, make a handle, reverse pressure. Oh, here we go. Reverse pressure the other way. You're gonna slightly angle your knife up so that you can come against the grain and then slide it out, cutting just the silver skin as much as possible. This is a skill like anything else. The more you do it, the easier it's gonna be. And then when you're ready to graduate to that beef tenderloin that's over $100 or $150, you can go with confidence. So there's our cleaned pork tenderloin. Look at it, okay? It's in a 2-pack, so let's do the other one. We'll take the back of our knife, releasing some of that sinew so we can really get a nice close look at the silver skin. We're gonna take our knife, again, same technique, little bit of wiggle, get it underneath there, cut out that side, make a handle, reverse pressure, knife slightly upward, angled upward, and then we go ahead and we make our cut. Again, this is the stuff that we don't want anything to do with. Look at, it's like, I bet I can just like barely pull it apart, watch. I can't even pull it apart. It's like, that's how like tight this whole thing is. Again, we'll do it again. Make a handle, go back reverse pressure, all the way down. Beautiful. Now when we get to here, we might need to angle this up a little bit. This one has a little more silver skin than the other one did. Each piece is going to be different. That's another thing. You don't know what you're gonna deal with until you open it up. There could be a big gash where the meat cutters who process this got a little crazy and there's a little gash in there. There could be some that have pieces of the silver skin missing. But again, as long as we all take it off, that's what we're looking for. Now, the pork tenderloin is a underrated piece of meat in my opinion. I love to season these up, throw them on the smoker, throw them on the grill. It's a quick and easy meal, high protein. It takes well all those rubs that you have in your cabinet. It'll take all of them. Man, it's a good piece of meat. So that is how you take care of the silver skin. Next, we are going to talk about portioning a pork chop. It's going to be the same deal if you're portioning a ribeye or a New York strip, and we're going to portion a pork chop. That's next. Let's go. This is a whole pork loin. So this is basically, on a pig, this is your New York strip, your ribeye, it's your everything right here in one piece of meat. Another cool thing about, the reason I like to get these all the time is because Costco, my favorite place, obviously, if you know, you know. So Costco has these on sale pretty frequently, and they're super cheap already, but then they'll take like $7, $8, $9 off of the whole thing. They're practically begging you to buy one of these and take it off their hands. So whenever that happens, I go ahead and pick up a few and stash them in my freezer, and then I'm always ready to go to do pork chops. So this is our 10-inch breaking knife from the Butcher Wizard collection. It makes quick work of all of your big cuts of meat, whether it's a whole ribeye, whole New York strip, and it's available on Amazon.com. Please go check it out. All right, so the skill that we're practicing with this is going to be portioning steaks. Now, if you are going to do a New York strip or a ribeye, you're going to have to get good at cutting straight and using a bigger knife to get through the big piece of meat, and just having a consistent product as you cut. So we're going to go ahead and practice with the pork loin. You know, if you think about your ribeye, maybe it's like your whole ribeye maybe like $13, $14, $17 a pound. This one we're talking like $5 to $6 a pound. So let's practice on the cheap meat before we graduate to the expensive meat. We're going to go ahead and use our breaking knife. Again, we're practicing. So you may not need this big a knife to do the pork loin, but again, when you do the New York strip, when you go ahead and break down a ribeye, you're gonna need a bigger knife. So this is the Butcher Wizard 10-inch breaking knife. Again, all the knives I use today, all the equipment I use today will be in a link in the description. You can pick these up on Amazon. It's super affordable, and you need this when you're gonna graduate to those bigger cuts of meat. And it comes in a nice carrying case, so you can put it in here and then put this in your drawer. It keeps it stored out of the way, and then when you're ready, you're ready. You got your breaking knife. So go check it out on Amazon. All right, so here is our pork loin. So we have, so we're gonna go ahead and just start taking pork chops off of here. You can go ahead and remove as much fat as you would like. I like to leave the fat on, see how much there is. If it gets kind of crazy and you see one pork chop that has a big layer of fat and that's not your thing, then you can go ahead and trim that as needed. So what we're gonna do is just start from one end. So this is kind of like the rib end, the ribeye end, if you will. It has a little bit of, you can tell the different muscle groups as we cut it. And as we go more over here, you're gonna get more of that pink, consistent pork chop. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll take this rib end right here and I will just make the whole thing a roast. Go ahead and throw it on the smoker, season it. It's so good. In fact, that's what we're gonna do with this first piece, because I want to show you something a little different later. I want to show you how to slice, and that's another thing. So we're gonna go ahead and make a nice big roast, cut down nice and easy. And here is our pork roast, and you know, I'm gonna go ahead and season this up, throw it on the smoker, and we'll see this. You'll see it in a little bit. Now that we're here for the more consistent pork chop, I wanted to bring out my scale. Now, this is going to be more of a consistency exercise. Remember, we are doing the Karate Kid. You remember the Karate Kid where we did the wax on and wax off and sand the floor and sand the floor, and then the climax of the movie, old boy knows karate now because he's done all the movements. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're practicing. So what I want to do is take my scale and I'm going to weigh each one and try to get them at a consistent weight for each piece. And this is going to take a lot of practice. So don't get down on yourself if you do like one that it doesn't work and it's like way off. Just be consistent. So what we're going to do is take about, I would say about 2 fingers is what we're going to start out with. That's our rule of thumb, our rule of fingers, thumb, fingers, I don't know. We're going to take 2 fingers and make a pork chop out of it and then weigh it. So you're going to take you're going to take your knife and just slide down even pressure right here till it hits the board, and then you're going to come back just like that. See? Look at that beautiful, beautiful pork chop right there. Beautiful pork chop. All right, let's see what we got going on as far as weight is concerned. All right, this is an 8-ounce pork chop, 7.9 ounces, so pretty good 8-ounce pork chop. We're going to do it again. We're going to do the 2-finger method, and then come all the way down to the board, slide back out, angling our elbow up slightly so that we get a nice consistent cut. All right, so this is almost 9 ounces, so this is a little bigger, so maybe I need to come back a little bit. So the next one, we're going to do 2 fingers, but I'm going to do it a little bit. We're going to do 2 fingers, but I'm going to do a tight 2 fingers so that we can get closer to that 8-ounce portion. All right, and that's 7 ounces, so I did a little too much. So again, we're gonna go back and forth. We gotta really work on our knife skills and work on making sure that everything gets that nice 8-ounce piece that we were looking for. 7.5, not bad. This is pretty consistent throughout the entire pork loin, so we're just gonna keep going. 7.2. Ooh, I gotta go a little bit. If I want the 8 ounce, I gotta go a little bit bigger. Come on, let me hit one good 8 ouncer. Oh, 7.9. There we go. Makes you feel good when you hit it right on the money. For skill number 3, we are going to debone this pork butt. Now, it is a pork shoulder, and there is a bone that's right here. And if you're just going to throw a pork butt on the smoker and do pulled pork, you keep that bone in there, it does its thing. But if we're going to do other things, I want to teach you how to use your boning knife and other knives so that you can separate muscle groups, go around bones. This is great practice before you get to some of that higher level stuff like a chuck roll or a top sirloin or something like that. So you need to learn how to use your equipment and get around some of these bones. So basically what we're going to do is there is a bone that's right here and it pokes out over here. You can feel it with your fingers. And basically what we're going to do is just go around this bone using our boning knife. Oh, wow. It's a boning knife. It goes around bones. Okay, so that's what we do. So we're going to take our knife and just go little tiny cuts around the bone. And you're just going to follow the bone. Flip it around so this is easier to see. But we're just going to go around this bone. Now it has kind of it's a scapula, so it has kind of a cup shape that we're going to have to get around. But again, you just hug the bone, people. Go all the way down. All right, so what we've done here is gone down the bone, and here's the other side. So we've gotten around it. So we're gonna just make little tiny cuts. You're just using this little tip of your knife, okay? That's why it's a boning knife, because you can get around these things. Open it up, go around, so you can see this other part of the bone. We're just gonna go, and you're just gonna feel your way around it, okay? You're just gonna feel your way around it. Here's the other side, look at that. Here's the other part of the bone. There's a little cup right there. We're gonna scoop out all that meat, but again, it's just feeling it. It's a feel. See how that just comes out right there? Now that we have it open a little bit more, we'll go ahead and take this, put a little bit of pressure on the bone right here, put a little bit of pressure, that'll help it tilt up and you can get underneath it. Still got some hanging on over here. And then we've released this bone completely from our pork shoulder. This, of course, can be used for stock. You can throw it in your beef stock, throw it in anything, soup bones or whatever. It's delicious. So now we have a deboned pork shoulder. Couple of things we can go from here. So what I love doing with pork shoulder the most is sausage. So you can go ahead and take this and cube it up. The pork shoulder already has that kind of 80-20 fat to lean ratio. You can add some fat back to it if you want a juicier sausage, but cubing this up and making it into sausage is so good. And I have a video for that. I'll put it in the link in the description. I have a great breakfast sausage recipe that will definitely be a crowd pleaser on Sunday morning. My kids actually asked me for it yesterday. They said, do we have any more breakfast sausage? Can you go ahead and thaw that out? I got some in the freezer. Next thing we're going to work on is we are going to fully cook and slice that pork roast I was talking about earlier. Again, the slicing after it's cooked is also an important skill that we need to learn. So that's what we're going to go to next. But make sausage with this. Sausage. Boom. I know we do a lot of beef on this channel, but if you want me to start doing some pork and some chicken, hey, put it in the comments. What do you want me to work on next? What do you want to break down? Do we need recipes? What do you need? I want to give it to you. Let me know. All right, so we fired up our Traeger. We're going to put our pork roast on there in a second, but let's get it seasoned up. A little bit of a binder, yellow mustard, you know, classic barbecue stuff here. Yeah. All right, so for seasoning today, we're going to be doing the Traeger Whiskey Dust Rub. Now it says maple bourbon flavors. That sounds like I want it on my pork chops. So let's get a little bit of maple bourbon. Woo, that smells amazing already. You really get that maple smell already, that bourbon. I'm excited. I haven't tried this rub yet. They just sent it to me. So let's see what I'm really excited to see what it can do. Let's take this puppy for a spin. We're going to be using the Traeger Woodridge Pro today. So I got that fired up at 500 degrees. I wanted to go hot and fast. I want some caramelization. We're going to rock and roll with this one. All right, let's go throw this on the grill. And then, we're going to slice this puppy up when it's done. I'm excited. Let's go. I'm kind of getting a little hungry, so this is good. This is around lunchtime when I'm filming this video, so we're going to have a good lunch today. I'm excited. All right, so this is like skill 3.5. This is like a bonus, okay? So what do we do with all of the meat that we've cut today? So we're gonna vacuum seal it. So this is my favorite vacuum sealer. It is the WeVac CV12 chamber vacuum sealer. Now, this is not the cheapest thing ever, okay? But it does have a tremendous seal and it makes it super easy to do these big projects and then seal everything very, very quickly. So it's one of my favorites I wanted to share with you today. So WeVac also has all the bags that you need. So even if you have another vacuum sealer and you want to use the WeVac bags, they're nice and thick. They also have this cool like notch right here where you can just open it up with ease. It's super easy. So first thing we're gonna do is take our bag and we are gonna write pork chop on it. All right, pork chop. So we got our bag. We then put pork chop in said bag. Okay, let's do 2 because we're gonna have another person we're cooking for maybe, or leftovers or whatever. I have a big family, so I try to load these things up. I'll put 4 in a bag if I need to, but again, here we go. All right, we're gonna open up our vacuum sealer. We're gonna put, so there are 2 little clips right here. Right here in the middle, there are 2 little clips. You put those in the clips. We need to turn this thing on. On would be good. We're gonna go to a medium bag length, bag width, and then we're going to close it. Takes about 30 to 60 seconds, and then we are gonna have our completely vacuum sealed pork chops. Here comes the sound. Listen, listen. It's so satisfying. I think I could listen to that sound for days and days and days. That's crazy. So, anyway. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. What'd I do? All right. Here we go. Here is our pork chops that have been vacuum sealed. Now, in the refrigerator, they're gonna last a month. In the freezer, they're gonna last up to 1 to 2 years. So we got plenty of time to bust open our pork chops and throw them on the grill. If you wanna get a 15% off discount on this bad boy, then go check the link in the description. I would really appreciate it. All right, so for our 4th and final skill, we are talking about slicing. So we've talked about how to break things down using different knives, and now I want to talk about slicing. So this is our pork loin that we went ahead and put on the Traeger grill. We used the whiskey dust rub from Traeger, and this looks pretty good and it smells amazing. So for slicing, we have a 12-inch slicing knife from the Butcher Wizard, of course. Boom, here we go. And it's really simple to use, and you're just going to go ahead and make these nice long sweeping slices. See, and look, there is our delicious pork loin. Juicy, flavorful, it smells amazing. And once you have this knife, you can just go ahead and simply just make nice slices. Like, this is all we're doing here. Thin, thick slices, whatever you want to do, this is what you got. This is the knife for you. It makes quick work of this pork. It makes quick work of this pork loin, definitely. Let's go ahead and give it a little bit of a taste here. So nice, so juicy. I'm going to put a little bit more of this rub on here because I think it needs a little bit more bourbon maple flavor. So good, so juicy. If you got something on this video, go ahead and check out this next one. I'm going to show you how to break down a New York strip, and I think you're ready. You are ready. You can do this. Let's go to that one next.